Okay, good morning, everyone, and welcome to this special event that we are having in connection with the Connect India Residency program. This is a program, as you know, we had one last year as well. It's a unique program which connects ICTS with CERN. It's a residency program in which two artists, one Swiss and one Indian, spend some time at both of these institutions and interact with the scientists, and hopefully the idea is that by this promotion of this dialogue between science and art, both sides will enrich themselves and come up with new thoughts. Last year we had a very successful residency by two artists who, in fact, they are planning to come back again in March this year to spend some more time at ICTS. So this is the second installment, which we are very happy to do with the Pro Helvetia. It has two artists, again, one from India, one from Switzerland, and we'll hear two presentations from them. First we have Lou Masduraud, and then after that Shailesh. I'll just read a very brief introduction to both of them. So Lou is a Geneva-based artist whose work explores collective life through public fountains and hydraulic infrastructures as ideological symbols. Using sculpture and installation, she creates alternative forms that challenge norms and encourage emancipation. Her practice incorporates traditional craft techniques like bronze foundry, stone carving, and ceramics, alongside conceptual works that critique regulatory systems. She won the Geneva Manor Art Prize in 2023 and the Swiss Art Award in 2024. Shailesh BR is a Delhi NCR-based artist whose work explores fundamental aspects of knowledge systems, rituals, and metaphysics through philosophy, science, and technology. His practice blends artistic interventions with a philosophical approach to engage with the world around us. So we will hear two presentations, I think 20 minutes roughly each from both of them. And I think, would you entertain questions during the presentation, or should we wait till afterwards? Or
with pleasure, we respond to questions anytime, but we plan like a 20 minutes presentation, then 10 minutes question
and then for each, and then the thing. Okay, so we will go along with that. So we'll try to save the questions till the end of the presentations, unless something very important. Okay, thank you. Over to you.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm glad to be here at ICTS and to present myself, my art practice, and also my interest, like in the following weeks, in the context of this residency. So my name is Lou Masduraud. I'm a French artist, but I'm based in Switzerland since 10 years. I got graduated at Haute École d'Art et de Design in 2014 with a master's degree. I mostly show my work in Europe, mostly France, Switzerland, and Italy. I work with an Italian gallery called ADA Project, and they represent me. I mostly practice sculpture and installations in my studio, but before the production of the artworks, there is a phases of research and conceptualization that I'm going to try to explain a bit more today. I'm looking at situation and environments that reveal normative habits, and I produce objects that offer their potential reversal. So I'm interested in the spaces and practices of collective life, public spaces, and the systems that make them possible, such as belief systems, cultures, ideology, sometimes also language, but also the very hardware systems like electrical infrastructure or hydraulic infrastructure within our cities. In my installations, I analyze, modifies, and stages collective habits and normative habits in such a way as to expose the relation of power that underlie them. I use the networks of human activities as metonymies to represent our social organization, but also interpersonal relations, interspecies relation, and sometimes with also our relation to natural resources. By combining conceptual sculpture and craft traditional techniques, such as like marble carving, foundry, but also ceramic. But I'm open to very different kind of media. I love to learn new techniques also. And with those craft technique and the conceptual sculpture, I propose alternative narrative to dominant realities. So here's an exhibition I did in 2022 at the Centre d'Art de Neuchâtel in Switzerland. We can see there is one central fountain, there is a public lamppost, and there is two grids that you can see through. Since few years, I'm mostly working with 3 ongoing projects, but for today and for this residency, I'm only going to focus on my project about public fountains. I started in 2018 with this fountain that is called Active Substances Fountain. It was for a show in Italy, in Turin. And it consists of a large basin where you can sit on, as we saw on the previous picture here. This was during the opening, so people were invited to sit on the fountain, like in a public fountain, like on a public square. And in the center, there is a tank that is fulfilled with 100 liters of antidepressant. In the tank, there is a figure of diffracted face blowing steam of antidepressant into the air of the exhibition space. It is a very authoritarian fountain, a bit scary, a bit dystopic, about the control of moods and the pharmaceutical empires in Europe. This fountain whispered dystopian scenario about a fictional city providing antidepressant rather than drinkable water to its citizens. Here we can see some details of the diffracted phase and the steam that is blown in there. I see the public fountain has a flower merging from a subterranean network, the visible fruit of a very complex system resulting from decisions, layers of histories, techniques, and administrations. This complex and almost invisible system enables collective life, but also its control. As a manifestation of political power in the public space, the fountain stages the gush of water inside the city. The result of the successful collective organization or its failure, the spectacle of the abundance of these resources or its lack, its redistribution or its monopolization, and most of the time it's a complex balance of all of these, of course. If you look closely enough at the public fountain, detail, its design, the place it's built in the city, its history, you can learn a lot about our history. At least that's my conviction. If I may add, like more precisely, my work consists of using the fountain as a tool to reveal social, economical, and ecological issues and to propose counter-narrative with different fictional fountains. So here is another example of a fountain I produced in 2020 in a public park in Geneva for the biennial sculpture garden. It's called MOM, Moon Cycle Dew Fountain. It consists of a big dew fountain collecting dew during the night. It consists of 2 large wings covered with aluminum silicate. And this aluminum silicate makes that the metal is getting colder during the night, so it produces more condensation. And a long bronze pipe conducted to collect the dew to a mammal and finally drop into an ear. So the fountain is extremely discreet, like it only produces few drops of dew that fall into an ear and then to the earth again. It was exhibited in the front of Lac Léman in Geneva. And in the center of the Lac Léman, there is the famous water jet, le jet d'eau de Genève, that is the symbol of Geneva, and that it's a 140-meter high water jet. So the purpose of the artwork was to create the exact contrary of like kind of an anti-fountain, that is an autonomous, autosufficient, ecological, and very unspectacular fountain in order to promote contemporary values and conscious use of natural resources. It was also the first time I used bronze as a technique, so it was also a very, let's say, experimental way of doing bronze.
The head of that fountain, is that like is that an animal's head, or is the end of the tip of the fountain?
The two large wings?
No. The other end, it's like a snake or something.
Yeah,
is it like, supposed to be a snake?
Pipe, and then there is a mammal that we can see
it's a mammal.
the end of the mammal that is used as a tank to keep the water. And then with a really, really small hole, it drops into the ear every minute, more or less. But it's very dependent on the weather, on the meteo. If there is too much cloud, the wings doesn't produce a lot of money, a lot of what I'm saying. That's so funny. It makes sense. It's a nice one. It doesn't produce a lot of water and definitively not a lot of money.
Looked a bit like a snake. That's why I was wondering whether.
Yeah, it's an organic form that it's also looked a bit like a dragonfly, but in the way it's built, like when you look closer with the detail, I don't have other pictures, but it's also very rough and industrial. So it's a weird mix into the kind of machinery, industrial machinery, but that is actually just an ecological systems. And here is another example. 2 years ago, I had the chance to do a one-year research residency in this amazing villa that is called Villa Marini in the center of Rome. It's the Swiss Institute of Rome. And Rome is a well-known city for its fountain, mostly for its Baroque fountain, everywhere around the city. In the course of my research, while looking at those fountains, I noticed like plants and vegetation that grows like mostly around the mouth of the fountain where the water pops out. And I'm not used to that because in France and in Switzerland, it's so like the administration cleans so much all the fountains and all that you don't see the growth of life that comes up with water when there is water. So yeah, whenever there is water, there is a development of life. Here in Bangalore, I noticed that the city is full of vegetation, like moss, plants grows everywhere. Like it is very present in town. But as I said, in Europe, vegetation is highly controlled by municipalities and only present in public park. The city maintenance staff constantly struggle to control the algae and the moss that inevitably grows on fountains. We can understand this laborious maintenance as an impediment to the development of various forms of life in the presence of water, as a limitation that marks man's desire of sovereignty over nature and man's desire to control the elements. But here we are, this is the loggia of the Swiss Institute of Rome. And here is the detail of the rock in the center of the fountain. So this I produced and showed at the Swiss Institute of Rome. It is called Spit Kiss from Earth. And this fountain hosts the natural development of plants. It is part of this evolutionary sculpture, which grows and develops over time, as if a natural sources was reclaiming its rights over the fountain. During my residency, I learned in Latin literature a very different relationship to nature than nowadays. During the antiquity, Romans believed in nymphs, the goddesses of water sources and their different lives and death power. One of them is petrification. And the power to change bodies into stone. Nowadays, thanks to science, we know that this phenomenon of petrification is the mineralization of organic substances by limestone concretion. So the limestone that is inside the water deposits itself on the vegetation and transform it with time into stone. The stone I use for the fontaine is called TIFR. There's no translation in English, but it's tuffo in Italian. It's the geologic result of years of petrification. At the top of the stone, I carved a marble from Carrara in the shape of a mouth. And this mouth flows water, allowing the plants to grow on the surface of the stone as if the nymph was alive. Yes. Yeah, most of the pictures that are shown today are my sculpture. It's just like this one was just a picture I took 2 days ago. So here is another example of a fontaine I did on this same research about the nymphs and our relation to mineral. It is called Petrifying Basin, Kisses with the Nymphs. And here it is exhibited in Museum Souche, a beautiful museum carved underground into the mountain of the Alps in Switzerland. I sculpted a lot of mouth in marble with teeth made out of different stone, rice stone, but also shells. And they're coming out of ceramic pipes and stone, and the many mouths merge at the surface of the water. I also use the white powder that is placed into the basin and that gives the white color to the water. It is calcium carbonate, and it's a huge industry around the world that is used in many, many different industries, including paper, plastic, many different things. And it's also produced in Italy out of the Carrara marble, that is a very well-known stone for in history of art, but also history of design and architecture. And it's very interesting to observe the exploitative extraction of the calcium carbonate in Carrara in comparison to the beliefs in nymphs with the Roman mythology. This culture shed light on the changed relationship of human to natural resources, when in antiquity stone and water were considered material full of life and stories. Today, economics and exploitation define or redefine our relationship to nature. So I don't know, I didn't really look at the hour, but it's already 20, so I'm running out of time. But even if I show you only very few artworks, I hope you got an introduction into my practice and my interest. Here in India, I only have 2 weeks left to find some relevant stories about Karnataka relationship to water, the differences, the beliefs, water management and hydraulic infrastructure. It's a huge topic that I will not be able to know even maybe one person, but what I will get, I will be happy to get, let's say. India is a totally different context than Europe and faced very different challenges towards these precious resources. I'm looking forward to meet engineers and exchange about those topics. I'm actively searching for representation of the hydraulic infrastructural system of Bangalore. And in collecting your stories and your point of view on those topics, on the local water management stories, and even locations of Bangalore public fountain. So please write me. Here is my personal email address. Write me if you would like to meet and to discuss these subjects together in the following weeks. For now, if you have any question, I will be happy to try my best to respond.
Thank you for giving us a glimpse into your work. Questions?
Why the
year?
Here.
Yeah.
It's a nice question that is not like, I don't have a conceptual response to this. It was also like a formal intuition. It was like a secret that comes back to earth. Like water is such like a complex system on earth that defines a lot of our planet, and Does the fact to collect this dew and to give it back to water in a form of an ear look like a bit a secret? But it's open to any projection.
So Bangalore, of course, has a very complex relation to water because we don't have very much. Okay, there are. I think at some point there were many lakes built in Bangalore, and that actually had an impact on the climate of Bangalore. I think in the last 2 centuries, people artificially made these lakes, and that in some ways probably was good, but then now the lakes are being covered or have been polluted. Maybe you've even heard of the famous Bangalore as an infamous lake which caught fire.
Yeah, I did.
So it has had, I think maybe these might be interesting things to understand. There's also the water supply in Bangalore, which is that there aren't that many rivers or anything that give natural water supply to Bangalore, and it's a huge city. And I think the water has to be brought several hundred kilometers from the nearest big river, Kaveri. There is I think we've had, maybe Devdatta can share some links for some talks we've had in Bangalore in ICTS on the water. You talked about water management and so on, about some of that in Bangalore by Mihir Shah was one. Yes, that was a different talk, but there was another one by this person from Atri, Sharad. So I think those both of these are talks that came to mind when you were mentioned this. So that may be at least a place to explore some of the issues with respect. And also, you might have seen our little fountain here on campus. I don't know if it isn't actually the lotus, yeah. So in India, very often the fountains have some of this. I mean, the water lily and the lotus are very common objects that you have in fountains or in any small sort of water body like that. Anyway, so maybe it's a different, yeah, it's a different theme that I think people bring in here. Any other questions?
Thanks.
Bangalore are kind of public spaces. Around the one in Orion Mall is an,
it's not a public really.
It is kind of public. You can go in. It's a security
check. Maybe some people can go in, some people can't.
Yeah, okay, that's true. And but some of them like Sankey Tanky and also here Alessandra Lake, as I mentioned to you.
Hesarghata Lake here, which is
in fact, used to have a lot of parks apart from having a lot of lakes, and now it doesn't have so many. In fact, are places where are to some extent public places where people actually, and so that's, I think.
And it has I think now people are trying to recover it, the lakes, kind of reclaim the lakes in some sense, because they've either been polluted beyond any this thing, or they have been built over for real estate. But now I think, at least near where I live, at least 2 or 3 lakes have been reclaimed and, so to say, and at least made into public spaces. But that's a process that's ongoing, I think, in Bangalore.
Very vivid. There's a lot of things going on with this subject right now.
Yeah, the real estate people in Bangalore are very have a lot of clout, and so there is, as you said, power to try to take over some of these, and that affects the climate. I mean, Bangalore has had a climate that has changed quite drastically in 30 years.
Yeah, and digging in, like, the groundwater pump are like also in relation to the overflows of the river, and I mean everything is connected. There is no like production of water. There is water that flows around, and if you take it there, it's gonna miss there. And if we take it to the Covary River more and more and more, it's just going to miss somewhere else and or overflow somewhere else. So it's very complex. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, the natural flow channels are often obstructed.
Please write me and let's talk about it together in a more like, okay.
Which are built have this correlation between what the, maybe I got it wrong, but it stands for something, like it means something. You said about the power of sculptures. So how can many people come to a certain conclusion? Yeah, that is what the sculpture stands for. Like, is there any concrete way of saying, yes, this sculpture stands for this? Rather than, because like in art, like there's this, like everyone has their own opinion about a piece of art. So I'm asking if there can be a right opinion.
I'm not sure I get the question, but from what I get, what I'm saying that these objects represent like political issues. I don't think that the artist that is commissioned to produce the fountain is aware or is trying to take that into consideration. Most of the time, artists can also just respond in a very formal way. Okay, you need like a pyramid with holes and this face or this god, and they will like produce because it's like a commission's work. So my work is a bit different. I also work a bit with real public fountain, so dealing with the municipalities and all, but most of the time my fountain are like a representation of public fountains. And that's how allows me a lot of freedom in the critique and yeah. Did I get your?
Since you work with both public and water, did you ever end up in sort of a clash with policymakers, like politically speaking?
Mm-hmm.
You ever end up in political trouble because you work with water and public?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you. And we will maybe thank Lou again. And welcome Shailesh to give his presentation.
Hi, my name is Shailesh. I am not good in actually presenting the presentation and even talking in English also, because I studied in Sanskrit almost 14 years. Then I joined the art school. I was a priest earlier. After like quitting that priesthood because of I am the quite big victim for like facing all these problems and all. So I quit that one and I thought like, okay, who created the God? Then I decided maybe the artist created the God because they made the ideals and also paintings and all those. So that's why I want to become a God creator. So I went to art school. Then I realized there is a lot of different kind of like practices and also the expressions they are doing. And also the thing like I was born in remote village called like Bangalagalu is maybe near Joke Falls. And also like we migrated 2 times because of the 2 big dam happened in like Vishwesharaya time because they built the big dam for power project. And our land is like filled with the backwater. So we changed the land like 2-3 times. Then what happened, like we didn't get the electricity till 1992, but also we are like giving the electricity to entire like 75% of Karnataka. Maybe we have like kind of quoting like diya ka jo base hota hai wo andhera mein rehta. It's a kind of like philosophical and also kind of like kind of dream, like maybe. Yeah, also it's true also because we didn't get the electricity till 1992. I born in 1986. Then I didn't see any like those kind of machines and how it works. And my father actually forced me to like become a priest because he thought like, okay, if I become a priest, then maybe I can earn quite good money and our lifestyle would be like better than like other people because we are living in a like forest and only 4 houses in the village. So it's very difficult. And also we are always walking towards to get the like vehicle to go out. And it's very like kind of tribe life. But now I am maybe enjoying those things. And also I am thinking, but now I am like I'm paying almost like 10,000 rupees for electricity in Delhi. So I just like give the hint like how sometimes life will change and something happens in our livelihood. So the idea of like this science, but I didn't know anything about science because I never studied in this kind of education system. So what happened when I joined the art school, I was just wondering like how these machines are working and what is the like energy behind that, because like always I know the energy of like this God and all those like spiritual energies and spirits and all those things. But when I decided to understand this, how this machine will work, but till now I didn't understand because of maybe lack of knowledge or lack of interaction with the people. Because I'm a bit shy in this way of like interacting with or asking some questions or something. But I will try like what I know. Then maybe sometime it's very silly questions, because once I ask the question in joke falls, there is the water falls or like it goes in the turbine. It gives the electricity, and because it happens in the, it's called on a good day or something like that. Then that water same comes into the joke falls. Then they again take the electricity from the water. So I was just wondering, like they already took the electricity from the water there, and again how they are taking water like electricity from here, like because already they took. So I'm thinking like I didn't know about like it's all about the flow and it's all about like the other things. I was thinking like it's a physically they are like taking the electricity from the water, and again I thought also maybe leftover electricity they are taking from here. So these kind of like something like maybe for you now you can understand like my point of view, like I don't know anything about this. So I thought like in the same time I was like questioning about the like how the word exists and how the energy exists, and also there was like even I was talking to him like there was like straight line is exist or not, because I was like questioning that, because I am thinking like the word is always round. So if you start putting the line from this place to again you will come back, it means like it's a round line. So there is no straight line. So I do a lot of these kind of drawings and like kind of experiment, like it's a kind of childlike play, like it's not a childish act. But also for me, yeah, you told like even I was in that time also I was wondering like, because always like people will say like light is a straight line, but and again you said that is also curved because of the gravity, I think. So there is no straight, so everything is bended. So I'm okay, I'm happy this time because I understand this is like that. So I think I made the like experiment with this drawing machine. It was like I never played with the remote car, so I took the remote car and I was in the exam hall, because also I am a bit lazy to do the drawings all the time. So I thought, okay, I will put the two pencils in the car and I will play around like every day, because we used to do the exam for 8 days in that time. So every day you used to do the drawing. So I'm not able to do the drawing. So I created the machine for me, so it can do drawings for like my exam. So it did. Maybe I'll show you the video. I think small video. How I can make it a little big. So here also I find that one like there is no straight line can happen, because it has to come back again, it has to turn and it has to meet somewhere. So every line is round in that time. So my experiment is succeed in that time. I thought, okay, there is no straight line. But people are always like, oh, why you are making this statement? It's not right. There is the straight line because light is straight. Because in art school, there is no like such kind of experiment happens. So this is my first experiment with the line. And And also I do a lot of drawings before like doing all these things. Also, this is the small object I created to show the how the earth, if you start lining, and it can make again and round and round. So this is representation of like that kind of attitude. And the enquiry second is like I'm also studied in Tarka Shastra. It's all talking about like logic and all those things. Means like you know about like anumanas, abhavas, and all those things in Tarka Shastra. They talks about even the just imagine they talks about dravya guna karma samanya vishesha samavaya bhava sapta padartha. They talk about like the seven element, and also when it comes to the guna, then rupa sagandha sparsha sankhya parimana prutakva sanyoga vibhaga paratva aparatva gurutva dravatva, and all those element like how the gravity, how the like liquidity, and all those things they talks. And also talks in the sense they never prove, I think, or I don't know they prove or not, but they talks. Okay, we have this, we have that, we have this. But for me, that's all about like questioning the thing. So this, I don't know, my baby, it can work in the certain way, but then I did the machine called philosophy machine. This is a quite like set of drawing, like maybe I thought like if in the contemporary world we can like seek the philosophy from the machines. So this was interesting thing for me, because if people are understanding something in their lifestyle, because if I'm talking in their knowledge or talking in their language, that might be quite easy to understand that. So I started doing like or using some Sanskrit like philosophy to make them understand maybe this is this and this is that. So this was called like philosophy machine. I made the machine, like I will show you the drawing. This is the like two, this one circle filled with the lamp, and one side light is always getting on by the again the gas, and another side it will go and off. So I will show you the video maybe like yeah, it's because it's filled with the kerosene. That was the idea of like you can like even see the smoke and also the smell. Because what happened, like maybe I was in the priesthood, so I was encountering all these kind of like smell and even texture sometime, and also the flame and diya and all those things are very much connected to the spirituality. And also I was like even using those elements to like understand like what I want to understand, because it's nothing to do with like I'm saying someone like this is right or wrong, this is or like what it is, but I'm just I'm just searching, because when I asked them, they didn't said anything. Like I'm asking why we have to put the light and how it works, and or why the lamp and why the lamp with the key. So they never answered, but I was just thinking like, okay, it might be the work in this way, this might be works in that way. And also sometimes they talks about philosophy called like punarapi jananam punara, again death and again birth happens. It's a kind of loop. So then how you will show the loop in the certain like machine. So machines are also loop, I feel now, because maybe it's always rotates in the one point to another point. Maybe it's a loop will create the motion. I thought like, okay, if I want to like say some philosophy in the machine, then maybe I can encounter this in like certain way. And also I see sometimes this light is existed in certain area, then when it comes to the another part, then it will go off. It means it is not there. But again, when it comes to that place, then again it will get on. So it means like it's related to the even the space also, but it need some certain kind of reaction, and it needs some certain kind of push to get on. So otherwise it is always kind of abscond, or is we can't say like it's non-existent. It's existed, but we are not able to like see this thing in a certain way, or we can't prove it in a certain way. So I did this as in a like philosophical machine or something. Yeah.
You showed first some drawings. So how is that related to this?
Actually, what happens in the art, because either I didn't know about how to do the machine, because I never studied in the engineering and all those things. That time what I did is like, at least I can do the drawings how you people will do the maths, like to like visualize in a certain way. But my visualization is like in this drawing you can see I wrote maybe this light will light the lamp, and that somewhere it will go off, and maybe it can burn. Like that is the how I can like make the blueprint of that machine. This is my like the blueprint for the machine. Like maybe sometime I can't make the machine because I'm not doing machine. I'm just assembling machine from like other parts to this part. I will take from the washing machine. I will fix that to the wheel, and so this is a kind of just collage.
Together, that machine?
Yeah,
you did it.
I put it together, all the machine. Now I think I can do a little bit coding. Like I slowly started doing that using Arduinos and like servo motors and stepper motors, because I think recently in 2021 I understood the like RPM, so how it works, how much RPM we need, and like because in this machine also I didn't know the RPM. I just used the 220-volt motor. I need 60 RPM. In that time it's like 60 RPM is good because we can like see the movement like easily. So I just took the machine and fixed with the belt, and also it's a completely jugaad system. So then it happened after that, like some like those kind of drawings I always do before doing the machines. This work I did in Swiss in one residency with the Pro Helvetia. I'm talking about the cloud in that time, because first time I traveled to Swiss, I was like philosophically thinking the Kalidasa's Meghaduta, like it was talking about from South India to North India, the cloud traveled, and it gave the message to the girlfriend. That's a very poetic way of like understanding how the poet are doing. But also now I am thinking like clouds are something different, like different in the sense as in a like metaphorical way also, and at the same time in the physical way also. And also first time I saw the cloud from the upside, because I was traveling by the flight. So first flight, so I was watching clouds in the Switzerland, like you can see a lot of clouds. So that happened.
Tomorrow there is a copy with curiosity on by
Rama is talking about
on
that.
Why Clouds Don't Fall.
Yeah. So that was also again I was saying like how the south south person is going north and talking about like something, and also kind of like only the black cloud gives the rain. So it again like connected with some certain kind of, because after some time, like in my work, that political criticism also started coming in certain way. I will show you my some recent like 21 and 22 works. So maybe it's more critic than the what like in the society critics and even caste politics and even racism and all those politics. I am just started talking about with this kind of expression. Yeah.
Into the art section, isn't it? And then you started doing all these machine drawing and other things. I just want to know if all these are carried out to seek some knowledge, or you're trying to prove something.
I'm not proving something also. I am not like even seeking some knowledge also, but I'm just decoding the thing, what exactly happened with my, like in my childhood. Is it maybe right or wrong? I didn't know, because I was a priest because of someone told, and now I am an artist because I wanted. And also I want to criticize those things where I am not able to criticize in that time, because I was there and I was doing pujas, and I asked why we had to do the pujas. They didn't had any answer in that time, because no, we had to just do the pujas. We can't answer. And also I did the one machine called like page turner, that it completely like all the time it turns the pages. So I did like almost like 6 years like studying the Vedas. I was just turning the pages and by hearting them. And like I don't know single, like I know the letters and I know the words, but I don't know the meaning. Then what it matters? Then maybe it's just a kind of like time waste, or it's a kind of like monotonous in a very bad way. Like it's not in a good way monotonous. Like you are just repeating and repeating, repeating. You are not like even enjoying at the same time, and you are not even getting any knowledge from that. So sometimes what happens, I think, when you start criticizing that, maybe you will get somehow or sometime maybe what exactly happened. So I will show.
Have belief in Vedas.
I'm not.
That's what you're trying to say.
I'm not saying the you don't have to believe, or I don't have like also. I'm not saying you have to believe. So I'm in that stage. I want to just decode this, because if someone is like believing that thing, I can't like tell them don't believe, because it's again sentimental hurt. So you can't like say them like don't do this, because they will feel okay, I'm believing in the God, so I believe in God. So why who you are to like say this? So for me now, that time I was thinking like someone is saying me, and I was questioning, no, why we have to believe in the God? So I can't prove that there is no God or there is God, because it's again the belief system. Just imagine, I was always saying, not always, I was just thinking, if you have a scale, if you want to create another scale, you need the scale again. So it's a kind of loop, like you want to create, otherwise it can be a belief system also, right? Because we are believing this 1 liter, we never milk, we never checked, is it truly 1 liter or not? But maybe we are believing till now it's 1 liter. Or maybe some people proven this is in some certain kind of, it's called like, I think upamanas and all, like you have to, okay, we have only 5 minutes. So I'll get back to you about this, like, because it's again very tough for me also to like say something in a very different way. Then I created this again. I am talking about like how the monotony and this monotony maybe get end, or in some time like maybe it have like some proven something. I don't know about this. So that's why I decided to create a machine called the prayer machine. So the thing is like when you are doing the praying in the temple, always the even Krishna's philosophy says like karmanyeva adhikaraste ma paleshu kadachana. It means like you have to do the karmas, like you have to do the like the whatever you have to, but you don't have to think about the fruit of that. But this is again, I sometimes I feel very nonsense, because even when the priest is doing puja, he will think about like, okay, I will get money, I will get something, food, whatever it is, basic need they will think. But I thought like, okay, if we replace the machine, and it will do exact what we have to do. And it never thinks about getting money, never thinks about getting anything. Maybe it will get enlightenment before us. So that's for sure, like maybe because it's a pure like act it's doing. Like then we have to think about like either we have to be a pure mechanical, or maybe there is some like something you can like see or you can think. So yeah, of course, like I will show this. Yeah, I'll show you. So it will do first, it will start with a bell, and it will drop the milk, because when you do abhishekam, you have to put the milk, and then it will put the haldi and kunkuma and everything, like it decorates the god, and also it will drop the flowers. And it's the end of the day, like end of the time, like every 15 minutes cycle it have like, and then it will do the arti, then the one circle is done. So I think I can show you the video how it's doing. I think I will end with this video. Maybe I have some work, but no, only the halo is there in the wall, but I didn't shoot that one. Maybe in the image you can see there was a halo, but there is no existed God because it's the only space is the God now. Yeah, you can see in this there was a halo. Yeah, once actually my family got into trouble when I was using WhatsApp because I posted like some like very critical image and they completely went to my home and they told like why your like son is doing all this. Then I removed the Facebook. This machine I didn't even shown in India till now because and also I got another review from like recently I given like small talk in KNMA in museum. So they told तुम तो actually like priest के पेट में लात मार रहे हो. Like again they took it in a very capital way. Just imagine like if someone like really some capital person like buy this machine and reproduce and he will take over all the temples, then there is a lot of job from the upper class people they will lose and they can maybe go into the trouble. And also some political work I didn't shown here, like that was always got some problems, but not till now there, like because I didn't shown in the public spaces, so not much like thing happened yet, but maybe one day it can happen. So again, this is called that page turner, but this I displayed in Dubai also. That was really something happened because one woman came and she was saying, I was reading Quran all the time, but I didn't know the even know like what it says. But she become really sentimental. So I thought like really like she didn't meant about like sentimental hurt. She thought about, I never thought in that way. I'm so mechanical now because she's feeling herself as a machine just doing the act. I will like, if you want, I can show the video, like if you have time, otherwise we can stop it. Yeah, yeah. I in that time I put the like Gita, but in the public space, what I did is like I showed this in the France. So that time I bought like some French novel that I paste it here in the India. I showed this, and that time they didn't even understand because it's in French, and then they, oh, what is this language? And yeah, that's I think I think it's proven. So it means like you are just trying to read, maybe otherwise you will just turn the pages. Yeah, maybe that also a good, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, of course. Maybe I have three versions of this in a different. One is acquired by one kind of software company. I don't know how they understood, but they finally told, don't put religious book. Then I told, okay, like because I got some money, so I just told like, oh, you take it. Yeah, 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 maybe. So again, I do like a lot of these drawings, and also this is another project I did in ISTA in Austria, Institute of Science and Technology, Austria. So this was about maybe this was about how the, like if in case like if there is rainbow is happening all the time, if viewer is not there, maybe the rainbow is there, but you are not just encountering the rainbows. That's it. So it means like there is something. So we are not encountering that reaction. So this is how displayed, because ISTA, like plants are never seen the rainbows. So I made the plant, I just took the plant seeds and I grow the plant with 7 different spectrum of the light. This is a 7 box with a different color. People can come and change the spectrums. Then how the plant will grow with different color spectrums, because it's very needed only pink or blue, something like that. Leaves will look very black when it was in the pink room. So when it comes to the outside, you can't even maybe for plant facility, they don't expose that plant to the directly to the sun, because they do a lot of like this root studies and all, because they were saying root how they travel to the gravity and go inside, and how they splits. These kind of inquiries they are doing. I felt really wondering about that, and also I felt really bad about this plant, because this plant never seen the rainbows. So I thought I can show you the rainbows to the plants. So I made the 7 different box and I kept it in the box, and always the colors are changing maybe. Yeah, this is the last work. Thank you so much. These are my some drawings. Then maybe if someone is interested in drawings and seeing my blueprints, then maybe you can come and see in my, it's in my website also, shaileshbr.com. Otherwise, yeah. This one in Austria, like Vienna, is the like they collected this one in the like, because all the science institution is now much more connecting with the artists. So that's a nice thing happening with even artists also, to understand a bit more science. So thank you so much. Sorry, I took a lot of time.
Thanks very much. So as you see, we have 2 interesting people here who will be here for 2 more weeks. And I invite you to have conversations, lunches, and so on with them while they're here, and make it an enriching experience for us as well as for them. Yeah, so we have kind of reached the end, but if there are any quick questions, we had already a lot of questions during the talk, but any other questions immediately?
Regarding that puja machine, I just wanted to ask, like, so you're asking why do this? Is that a good question to ask about any art or tradition?
A good question or
is
attitude? Maybe asking question is good, because you people are scientists, you people are asking questions. That's why we are getting so much things and so much new experiences and new things, right? So if we are not able to ask the question in anywhere, like it's not only about like religion or something, like if you are not able to ask any questions anywhere, so that may be problematic for me, I think, because if you ask question, either you will get clear answer or you will get some more questions. So that's why it's good to ask the question. So for especially for an like, because science is developed because of this much questions, right? Otherwise, Newton told the theory and that still now is followed. Otherwise, now how the quantum gravity and quantum string theories are came in a certain way, like, right? Like, I think I see in that way.
It doesn't really answer my question. You asked, like, I think like you're telling more about like asking questions is good. That's definitely true. That's how we got here. But what I'm asking is like sort of related to what I asked her. Is, then how would you reach a consensus about what is the right opinion? Like when you start questioning these things. I mean, there are definitely social evils or things like, I mean, obviously when I see you, I don't imagine you as a priest, but obviously you've been through that system. You've come here and you're sort of like telling the dullness it sort of like exhibited in your younger life. But my question has to do with when you ask a question as to why they do this, is that okay to ask about an art or a tradition?
Ask about,
okay to be inquiring, but obviously I feel that the puja machine is sort of like a mockery on the right.
yeah, maybe it can be a mockery. I can accept that, because also it can talk about the monotony, what I expect, what I like pursued in my entire like priesthood. And also is again why we are doing this also is I needed the answer, because I'm victim for that, right?
I see.
I'm also a victim because I'm not an outsider asking this question. I'm inside in that time, but now I became an outsider and I am asking question what experience I had in that time. Because just imagine some victim is asking like why it happened to me. So that means it's a personal experience and a personal question. It's not nothing to do with, like I told you, that nothing to do with anyone's sentimental hurt. I'm not going to hurt someone's sentiment. I will take the standpoint because I face this problem. And that show is also called The Last Brahmin. So it's a great novel by the like Rani Ravi Shankar Sharma from the Telugu writer, but he in K.V. Subbanna from Neenasam, he translated that in Kannada. So he talks about you can take the standpoint in your like house first. Then you like, even till now I am not able to change my father's opinion because he already lived his life almost 70 years. How can I change his life? Or it's not fair enough to like change someone in 30, but I can change myself understanding much better than like what they are saying. Or maybe I'm wrong in like in the end of the day, that was the true. Maybe I'm accept that, maybe I can like cancel that theory, like I was wrong really. So I'm open to both. So, but I'm asking question through myself and my like it's myself question and self understanding about that thing. It's nothing to do with any like direct people or like some like even sentimental hurts or any religion.
Yeah, no.
About the purpose of art, or like I don't think that as artists we have to answer every question first. Like, we are producing forms that then have an existence, and then you can project and do your own experience with this form. That's going to be your experience, and I can never as an artist say it's right or wrong. That's my position. Not every artist thinks that, but nowadays it's a shared position. We produce forms, and then this form has its own autonomy, and you can think what it produces on you. That might be a critique, that might be an uncomfort, that can be many different things. And from this you get an experience that you can get emancipation from, or also just pleasure or anger, any different things. But that's your experience with this object. And that's not only made by me, like it's also you made it, and that's good. I mean, every experience is good to take in the art. Like, there is no like right or wrong understanding of an art object. That's maybe the big difference with science also. We cannot be wrong.
And also here I am just an artist, not activist. That's also a point, because sometimes because I can't go there and even I can't even fight in Instagram. Like, it's a very difficult like for me.
It's a personal reaction.
Yeah, it's a personal reaction.
A
Like
personal sort of, yeah. Okay.
So
Okay.
what you're trying to say is that the form of self-expression and like trying to incite it.
Yeah, but when it comes to the public space, just imagine I'm displaying this in the exhibition or something, then I have to accept both. Like if someone is like hitting me, I have to accept that. Or someone is like appreciating me, I have to accept both. Also, I have to give some certain answer, what I gained from this, or what I am searching for it. So I'm like, it's because once what happens, like when you when you make a statement, you have to prove it all the time. I'm not making any statement. The prayer machine is just an object. It's doing its work as in a, like what we said or what I said. So it means like I'm not making any statement. We have to replace the priest to the priest machine. I'm just saying here, like maybe we can think in that way, but I'm not saying like you have. I'm not even pasting that into the temple also, because that is again sentimental art. So, and also sometimes this can be a very like spiritual also, because I read some article when I showed this in France. They wrote it's very spiritual also, because some music and sound bell and all those, like they felt it very spiritual. Oh wow, it's very spiritual sound. So you can place it in a very like, it's a kind thin narrow line. You can fell this side and that side.
The way I see your art is like not as of a statement, but I see them as questions. And philosophy is again the art of asking questions, and that's why I can connect them very well.
That's also very, I mean, it's a general phenomena, you know, where my inquiries are my inquiries, and I may have several reasons for that. However, it may resonate with one group and might irritate the other. And that's, I think, in general, it's the life that we live in. So it reflects in an artist's work. It reflects in our everyday activities, the way we live. I think it's okay for a section to not be okay with this, and a section to be okay with. It's open to interpretation, as Lou says.
It was appreciated. That's because
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas all those things are our culture,
Yeah.
and it's very secret.
Yeah.
So as he says,
Yeah, of course. I told like I'm accepting that it can be a mockery, like, but for in my
explaining all this type of stuff,
Hmm?
you've already made it public.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That I already made the public, but thing is, like, what I want to say is, if you're not able to question even the culture, I am not saying like what is the wrong with culture, questioning the culture. Like when you think like I'm not hurting someone's sentiment. I'm not going and I'm not coming into his house and not like saying him like why you are doing. I'm like in front of everyone and standing and asking the questioning the culture. Why this is. That's it. So I'm not like going anyone's personal space to hurt their real sentiment, right? Because I heard there is a lot of people, they were really good, like the socialist or like something, even the communist, they do puja in their house. They never like even open about that thing. But it means like, again, it can be an individual perspective about like doing spirituality and being sacred. That is, I like the word of sacredness. That is the different, maybe being in a spiritual, I feel. But when we in the public space, we have a right to ask that question, even the culture or even any spaces or anywhere, like we can ask the question like why we have to do this culture. Because I can give you a small example, like if you have time, but I'm taking too much time. Just imagine like what happened. Like my father is to say this thing always. His father died. In that time, there was one cat. It was like roaming around. So what the priest, there's the apara karma, means like when the people will die, they will do the lot of pujas. What he did, like he's interrupting everywhere. That's why he took the cat and he put it in the box and he covered it. So his son, like I'm saying this, his son saw this. Okay, my father is like doing his father's ceremony. So he captured the cat and kept it in the box. His father died. There was no cat in house. He was searching for the cat because my father did this thing. I have to do this. So then he never questioned in that time, because why you are doing this? Maybe father have answered. No, this was interrupting you here, so that's why I'm keeping here. So he never answered. He was just observing what happening, and that is not his fault also. He didn't ask the question. That's his fault. That's it. But he's innocent to like just he asks how. But when it comes to the culture or act or like the rituals, that is a big problem. He is finding for the now cats. If he didn't get, then he don't do the ceremony. Thank you. Sorry. Maybe we'll talk in
Thank you very much.